bribe bomb in Kolkata rape case. Abhaya's parents fire bribe charge.
তখন ডিপি নট আমাদের ঘরের একটা গলিতে ঢুকে ঘরের ভেতরে তিনি আমাকে টাকা দেওয়ার চেষ্টা করেন।
Parents deny bribe charge in old video.
ভিডিও ভাইরাল হয়েছে, সেটা আমরা দেখেছি এবং ভিডিওটা চাপ দিয়ে, পরিবারকে চাপ দিয়ে, বারবারই তো বলা হচ্ছে চাপ দিয়ে করানো হয়েছে।
First bribed, then filmed video of denial. Even parents not spared from politics. Abhaya rape cover-up. Top focus on 6 p.m. Prime.
Hello and welcome. Good evening. You're watching 6 p.m. Prime here on India Today. I'm Akshata Nandagopal, and this evening we're going to be getting you details of how there have been attempts by some sections to even target the parents of the victim of the RG Kaur rape and murder, Abhaya's parents. They came out bravely speaking out about attempts to cover up the crime, including attempts to bribe them. And what have they got in response? Non-stop targeting, tarnishing their image, as if they haven't gone through enough. We'll be getting you details of the twists and turns that have emerged in that explosive claim where the parents said that there were attempts to bribe them by the Kolkata police. Let's begin with the headlines. Home Minister Amit Shah kicks off BJP's Jammu and Kashmir mission. Big Vikas push and BJP manifesto. Shah takes aim at Congress and NC alliance.
क्या कांग्रेस पार्टी ये एजेंडा के साथ सहमत है? क्या आप 370 फिर से वापिस लाना चाहते हो? इसकी बात आपने करनी चाहिए।
Wrestlers Vinesh Fogart, Bajrang Punia meet Congress Chief Kharge before their political plunge. Both wrestlers join Congress in the presence of KC Venugopal, say they will fight for the people of this country. Congress AAP seat sharing tussle continues. Alliance talks hit a roadblock. Sources say AAP against Congress formula will drop out of alliance if seat demands aren't met. Big outrage in Tamil Nadu over motivational speaker's speech in government school. Chief Minister Stalin says new guidelines will be issued for school events. Headmistress transferred after speaker spoke of karma to students. No breakthrough in the hunt for man-eater wolves. No success yet in Operation Bhedia. 18 shooters deployed. India Today gets you all the latest from Ground Zero. And India bags another gold at the Paris Paralympics. Praveen Kumar wins gold in high jump. This means that India's medal tally goes up to a stellar 26. 6 gold medals by our Paralympian heroes. And let's begin with an exclusive news break here on India Today as we're getting you the inside track on negotiations and talks that are underway between the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party in Haryana. What we're hearing right now is that alliance talks, seat sharing talks has hit a major roadblock over number of seats and the selection of constituencies. Here's what we're picking up from AAP sources. They are very much at this point making it clear that Congress's formula is not acceptable to them, and if Congress is not willing to budge, AAP sources say there's no question of an alliance happening. In which case, AAP is saying they will go ahead and fight 50 seats in Haryana. AAP is also now essentially readying a plan B, that if this alliance doesn't happen, they will ensure that they give tickets to Congress rebels as well as BJP rebels who they believe will fight on an AAP ticket. The first list of AAP candidates is expected on Sunday. So by Sunday, the day after, we will have clarity on whether this alliance is happening or not. Preeti Chaudhary is joining us with more details on this. Preeti, give us more of what really you've picked up from your AAP sources. It looks like, they're at their wits' end with the Congress. The Congress is refusing to budge. So the AAP making it very clear that they're not hell-bent on this alliance going through.
Well, it's hit a roadblock, Akshata, to say, because here the Congress clearly has the upper hand in this alliance going into Haryana. The Aam Aadmi Party has been expecting at least 5 seats of their own choice. My sources tell me that it's the main issue has come in from the choice of seats rather than the number of seats. I'm just speaking to my Congress sources as well. But the Aam Aadmi Party now, you could deem it to posturing, but they're very clear that if there is no breakthrough in talks, and there were talks that were held today as well, then they will release their first list this Sunday, which is day after tomorrow. The Aam Aadmi Party, instead of fighting 90 seats, will pull down to 50 seats. They'll fight 50 seats, and what they hope to benefit then is to play a spoiler, because they will give tickets to a lot of ticket aspirants from the BJP and the Congress that have been denied a ticket. So the Aam Aadmi Party would be hoping to ride on that. But all of this is plan B for the political outfit, because Akshita, right now, the Aam Aadmi Party understands and knows that it is in their favor if this alliance goes through. So posturing or not, they are saying, if the alliance doesn't come in the next 24 hours, we release our first list on Sunday. And like my sources are telling me, not so much on the number, but the main issue, the roadblock, is coming in from choice of seats.
Why is that, Preeti? If you could elaborate on what really has created the biggest hurdle. You're saying it's not about number of seats, because we were hearing that, the Congress is looking at about giving very, very few seats to the Aam Aadmi Party. They want more. But you're telling us it's actually over which seats they want to actually give.
Well, to be frank, the Congress actually never wanted, at least the state unit never wanted this alliance to go in. Already you're hearing, noises from various factions and stakeholders in Haryana. You have a Randeep Singh Surjewala who's come out and openly said that this alliance should not go through. Bhupinder Hooda, under whose leadership this election is being fought, has made it very clear that he's not in favor of the alliance. But because Rahul Gandhi and the central leadership had asked them to look into it, the talks have happened, and the Congress was not willing to give more than 2 to 3 seats. The Aam Aadmi Party had given them a list of 9. The Aam Aadmi Party was hoping that there'll be a figure in the middle that would be reached upon. Many of my sources within the Congress also say that maybe 4 or 5 seats could have been on the table, but the Aam Aadmi Party is very clear, if the number is 5, then those will be the choice of seats that the Aam Aadmi Party wants. Aam Aadmi Party is looking at seats in Kaithal, it's looking at seats, in Kurukshetra, it's looking at seats which border Punjab, because they're hoping to encash the Punjab government, because Aam Aadmi Party is in government in Punjab, so the border areas they might have influence on. Those were the seats that the Aam Aadmi Party wanted. Those are the seats that seemingly are being denied by the Congress. The Congress wanting to give the Aam Aadmi Party on what seats they want the party to fight on, and those seats mainly come in from the urban sectors where the Congress is seemingly weaker. They are hoping that if the Aam Aadmi Party comes in, then would be able to take on the BJP. So the main issue, point of contention now on the choice of seats.
All right. Thanks very much, Preeti, for joining us with all those details. The Congress may be in a commanding position, but Aam Aadmi Party also flexing muscle here, saying very clearly, if you don't want us to be a part of the alliance, we will play the role of a vote cutter. So we'll see what really happens the next 24 hours. Extremely crucial to see how really this develops. And over to our top story here on 6 p.m. Prime. The follow-up in the Abhaya rape and murder case. This entire story has taken a different shape altogether, because with every passing day, there are more details of the attempted cover-up and conspiracy. Just 2 days ago, you had the parents of Abhaya joining the agitation for the first time, saying that there were attempts to bribe them by the Kolkata police. And almost hours later, you had the Trinamool Congress putting out an old video of Abhaya's parents saying it's all lies, there were no attempts to bribe us. That was an undated video. Now, Abhaya's aunt has spoken out, saying very, very clearly that they were threatened into actually making a video saying, no, we didn't get any bribe. So the twists and turns continue. We'll round them up for you in our report and then get you more.
তখন ডিপি নর্থ আমাদের ঘরের একটা গলিতে ঢুকে ঘরের ভেতরে তিনি আমাকে টাকা দেওয়ার চেষ্টা করেন।
Shocking bribery charge in the Kolkata rape and murder horror. After Abhaya's parents accused the police of trying to bribe them, her family members leveled damning charges. Abhaya's aunt claims her parents were forced by the police to deny the bribery charge on camera on August 11.
ভিডিও ভাইরাল হয়েছে সেটা আমরা দেখেছি এবং ভিডিওটা চাপ দিয়ে পরিবারকে চাপ দিয়ে 11 তারিখ রাত্রিবেলা নিশ্চয়ই করেছে এসে, কারণ ওনারা এই কথাগুলো তো বলেছেন যে আপনারা যে এরকম বলছেন তাতে তো আপনাদের এখন তখন আমাদের মানে কলকাতা পুলিশের কাছেই এই কেসটা ছিল, তাতে আপনাদের কেসে অসুবিধা হতে পারে। জোর দিয়ে আমাদের বাধ্য করা হয়েছিল এই কথাগুলো বলার জন্য।
The rebuttal comes after TMC leaders released a video of Abhaya's parents calling bribe allegation a lie.
কিভাবে বলবো আমরা আমাদের এই সন্তানের কথা বলার কোনো দরকারই প্রয়োজন কি আছে? এমন কোনো ঘটনাই ঘটেনি।
আমরা কাউকে কিছুই বলিনি।
তাহলে এটা পুরো সম্পূর্ণ একদম মিথ্যা গল্প।
হ্যাঁ, মিথ্যা গল্প বানিয়ে একটা সমস্ত কিছু করেছে। আমরা বিচার চাইছি, যারা আমাদের সহযোগিতা করবে তারা আমাদের যারা ন্যায় বিচার পায় সেই ব্যবস্থা করুক।
The BJP rained fire on Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, accusing her of hiding something.
We want the answer to this specific question raised by the father of the victim. What was it that the administration was trying to throw under the carpet by paying bribe and money to the parents of the victim?
Meanwhile, Abhaya's mother, in an emotional letter, accused RG Kar hospital authorities and the Mamata government of trying to destroy evidence. It has been almost a month since 31-year-old Abhaya was brutally raped and murdered. Only one suspect, civic volunteer Sanjoy Roy, has been arrested in the case. Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, Abhaya's family has raised 5 key questions, 5 different issues, and let's break those down for you. The first is of cop intimidation. The allegation that there was an attempt to bribe us. Abhaya's father, after the protest on September 4th, said the police tried to bribe us. And then you had the Kolkata police saying the victim's kin free to talk to investigating agency and go ahead and level these charges to the CBI. So the Kolkata police is seemingly issuing a dare to the parents saying take this forward. Hospital pressure. Now, the parents have said repeatedly, we were made to wait for 3 hours to see our daughter's body. And they've asked what happened in those 3 hours. Why weren't we allowed to see our daughter's body? Now, the RG Kar hospital has said that the present administration of the hospital is different from the ones who were there when the crime took place. So we can't offer any comment on this allegation or what happened in those 3 hours. As far as the post-mortem delay and the FIR is concerned, there was a delay on that also, in which the parents have questioned why was there a delay in going ahead and registering the FIR, why was there a delay in the post-mortem report, something again that they've raised. Now, the Kolkata police have actually said that the delay in registering the FIR took place because officers were preoccupied. They were occupied with law and order duties, whatever that means. If they were indeed busy with law and order duties, you wouldn't have had this kind of a crime taking place. Now, a hurried cremation is something that the parents also have raised, saying we wanted to keep the body for some more time, but the cops put pressure on us to immediately cremate our daughter's body. Now, Kolkata police has responded to that, saying that we only followed protocol in this case. There was no question of any sort of hurried cremation or pressure. Now, there's been a big question mark about the counsellor's role, the counsellor Somnath Dey. The parents have questioned him repeatedly, saying, why did he step forward, present himself as a guardian before the police? And this is something Abhaya's aunt has questioned, saying, you know, where did this counsellor come out of nowhere for? Now, he says that I stepped in. The counsellor Somnath Dey, when we spoke to him, said, I tried to help the family in this hour of crisis. But the parents say we never asked for his help. Suryagni Roy is joining us live from Kolkata with more details on this. A lot of back and forth that we've been witnessing, Suryagni, in this particular case, particularly between the parents, the Kolkata police, between the parents and the Mamata government. And now at this point, it's gotten to such an extreme that constantly there are versions, counters coming to the fore, and many even questioning the parents right now. Abhaya's aunt has come out, Suryagni, to say that they were actually threatened to go ahead and say that they weren't bribed.
Well, Akshita, as you mentioned that, yes, there's a lot of miscommunication. That's what, at least we have understood
in the past 3 days, with so much of, statements, counter statements, and, old videos being viral. So this becomes, it becomes a very, very, it's dynamic, but it's very confusing at times as well. However, if we just speak facts on what the allegations are on the videos that we have been speaking about, on the allegations that we have been speaking about since the past 2 days in this particular aspect only. Last night, the aunt spoke to the press. She has mentioned that, yes, money was offered to them. Now, the question was, the question that the press, the locals over there, asked her, who offered, money to the parents? She said probably the police. And then, she was also questioned that why was that particular video, the clarification video, that no money was, offered, shot by the parents. Now, she claims that that was done under pressure. That was done forcefully. Now, again, the question arises, by whom? She doesn't mention it, but she gives a hint that it's the police. So again, there's a probable police link. So these are the questions that are coming up, time and again. Amidst, the political, fist fighting that we are seeing between the political parties, we saw the father, coming up with major allegations. Then we saw the video. Then we saw the counter to this video. Now,
and let's focus on that counter as well. So, Yagni, just stay with me because we're going to need your inputs going forward as well. Let's talk about really what the parents have said and also tell you what the counter has been from the Kolkata police. So you get a 360-degree view of the claims, the counters that are coming in. The parents said that the hospital had communicated to them, and this is a timeline essentially from day one, the number of cover-ups that the parents have alleged. They first said that the hospital told us that our daughter died by suicide. The West Bengal police almost immediately in damage control mode said the suicide claim isn't true. They said the police never said it. Audio tapes then confirmed that yes, the suicide theory was floated, not by the police, but by the hospital administration. So in this case, the parents were right. The Kolkata police also maintained that their stand was vindicated. The parents also said that we filed a complaint by 6 p.m. and yet the FIR was registered many, many hours later at 11:45 p.m. What took so long really for the authorities to crack down? The West Bengal government has pinned the blame on the parents. Believe it or not, they've said that the parents actually caused the delay in writing the complaint, and that's why the FIR was delayed. When the parents say there was no such delay that happened, we weren't allowed to see the body for 3 hours. The daughter's body was cremated in haste, is what they're saying. Let's, in fact, as we get to the latest on this, we're switching over to a big news break that's coming in right now to Haryana. All right, the big breaking news that's coming in right now is that sources have confirmed to us here on India Today that among the two big bang entries into Congress of Vinesh Fogart and Bajrang Punia, only Vinesh will be contesting the upcoming elections, and the seat that's been chosen for her is Julana. There's been a lot of talk about whether it'll be Charki Dadri or whether it'll be Julana. The confirmation we have for you on India Today is that Vinesh will contest from Julana, which is her in-laws' home village. So it'll be interesting to see what really happens and how that particular poll dangle plays out. But what we're hearing from our sources, this is something we told you days ago on India Today, that Bajrang Punia is not really going to be in the poll fray. He is in all likelihood going to be given an organizational role, and that's because the seat of his choice of Badli is a seat where you have a Congress powerhouse already posted. Rahul Gautam is joining us with more details on this exclusive news break. Rahul, confirmation here on India Today, as we had reported many days ago, that it's only Vinesh who's going to be given a ticket. It's only Vinesh who's contesting elections. And of the two seats, the choice for her by the Congress is Julana. Why Julana?
Akshita, we are breaking this first on India Today that Vinesh Fogart will be contesting elections, that too from Julana seat. Now, as we've been reporting earlier also, that the two seats were offered to Vinesh Fogart, and finally it has been decided in CSC, which has just been concluded, that Julana is the constituency which is the which is where she lives with her husband and in-laws. Vinesh Fogart is going to contest the upcoming Haryana Assembly post. We've been learning from our sources that it is highly unlikely now that Bajrang Punia will be getting a ticket, and he is likely to focus on campaign across Haryana. So clearly, we can say now that that the circle has been completed. Just 2 days back, Vinesh Fogart met Rahul Gandhi. Today, both Vinesh Fogart and Bajrang Punia met the Congress president. They were later on inducted into the party, and now her name has been cleared by CSC. We've been informed then an official list will be released either today evening or tomorrow morning.
Okay, so Rahul Gautam getting us that exclusive news break. The Congress CEC has just come to an end. So the details that we're picking up right now is that Vinesh Fogart is in the poll fray. She is going to be fielded from Jhalana. As far as Bajrang Punia is concerned, what we're picking up right now is that it's extremely unlikely that he is going to be fighting the upcoming elections. He's largely going to be a part of the star campaigner list and get an organizational role. I just want to bring in Preeti Chaudhary on this broadcast as well. Preeti, it was a toss-up essentially between Charki Dadri and Jhalana, between Vinesh's hometown and her in-laws' hometown. And it looks like the Congress has chosen Jhalana for her.
Jhalana is a safer seat for Vinesh Fogart because Charki Dadri, the person who's contesting that from the Bharatiya Janata Party is the son who won Charki Dadri, the last election and was also a cabinet minister. So the Congress party making sure that they have a safe seat for Vinesh Fogart. Jhalana also, Akshita, is the Jat heartland where Haryana is concerned. It's close to Behem, which is the seat of the Khaps in Haryana. The Khaps have unequivocally, all 24 of them, come and supported Vinesh Fogart. They were the ones who actually gave her a real gold medal when she came back. So, now it's not just the Congress party who will be, of course, supporting her because she's on the ticket from Jhalana. She'll have the support of essentially a main political player, which is the Khaps, because this is the area where the Khaps tell you, if the Khaps decide that the vote is going to go on a particular person, that is usually followed. So it's a safe seat. It's where she's married into. It's a village. Jhalana is where she stays with her husband. It's her husband's village. So in that sense, it's in terms of majority, it's a Jat majority constituency, and she's been the poster child where at least the community is concerned. But she'd be hoping, and the Congress would be hoping to use her as a mascot where youth are concerned, and especially women. If we heard her press conference this evening when she was being inducted into the Congress, she kept harping on the fact that this is a fight for women. So in the days to come, she will, or the Congress will try to field Vinesh Fogart as a vote catcher amongst the youth and women in particular. But seat-wise, safe seat, Jat-dominated, and right now, for Vinesh Fogart, at least politically, things look comfortable.
Okay, Preeti, just stay with me. Request Rahul Gautam also to stay on with us. I just want to play out what Vinesh Fogart said when she joined the Congress and she was asked about which seat she'd like to contest from.
मायका या ससुराल दोनों सीटें आपके लिए कही जा रही है. दोनों
एक मेरी जन्म भूमि है, एक मेरी कर्म भूमि है. दोनों मेरे लिए बहुत जरूरी है.
मायका या ससुराल दोनों सीटें आपके लिए कही जा रही है. दोनों
एक मेरी जन्म भूमि है, एक मेरी कर्म भूमि है. दोनों मेरे लिए बहुत जरूरी है.
Okay, so you heard there from Vinesh. She kept the suspense going, essentially refusing to give details of exactly which seat she'd choose, only saying that both seats are very close to her heart and both mean a lot to her. So it looks like she left this decision to the High Command. There was a lot of talk, Preeti, that Vinesh was actually keen on contesting from Charki Dadri. But the Congress would have weighed both options and therefore chosen Jhalana. So you think this was more of a Congress decision than a Vinesh decision?
Well, I think it's what is the safest seat right now. But it's interesting because now, Akshita, one will have to wait and watch because the BJP might have announced 67 of the 90 seats. 23 are left. One of those seats is the seat of Jhalana. Who will the BJP now get to fight Vinesh Fogart in Jhalana? That would be interesting, number one. Number two, you know, whether she wanted to go with Charkhi Dadri or Julana, I think she left it to the Congress High Command, and the local unit feedback was such that Julana is a safer seat, and the reasons I pointed out to you. Where Charkhi Dadri is concerned, there is a Jat candidate, you know, Sunil Sangwan by the BJP. He already has political affiliation. He's the son of somebody who was a cabinet minister with the BJP, who has in the past won from the Charkhi Dadri seat, enjoys a fair amount. He was a superintendent of police, you know, quit just days before the tickets were announced. He has a base where Charkhi Dadri is concerned. But Julana, at least as of now, is dominated by, you know, the emotional pitch for Vinesh Fogart. Like I pointed out, this is the area where the seat of Khaps are. And, you know, the whip, if I might say, as unofficial or, you know, it might be, but it's political. So if the Khaps back you, a Jat stronghold, it could be easier for her.
It's a safe seat, essentially. Preeti, just stay with me. Big breaking news that continues to pour in right now again on Haryana. Let's cut across to that. The Congress-AAP alliance hitting another roadblock, as you've got now senior Congress leaders also speaking out against any tie-up with AAP in Haryana. Senior Congress leader Randeep Surjewala has also red-flagged the tie-up, saying very clearly that the Congress is strong by itself in Haryana. There's absolutely no need for any alliance with the Aam Aadmi Party. We've heard from multiple Congress leaders, Haryana-based, who've all voiced the opposition to any form of alliance with the Aam Aadmi Party. Listen into what Surjewala has said.
रणदीप को या किसी और नेता को हो सकता है, लगता है कि हमें जरूरत नहीं, हम खुद लड़ सकते हैं और हम खुद कामयाब हो सकते हैं। हम लड़ते भी अकेले आए हैं। एक, मैं आपको अब दूसरा हैट महासचिव का पहनकर ये कहना चाहता हूं, दिल्ली केंद्रीय नेतृत्व का एक और नजरिया है। पूरे देश के अंदर एक समुचित मापदंड बनाने का, जहां हर साथी को अकोमोडेट किया जा सके, आपको जरूरत हो या ना हो। तो मुझे लगता है इन दोनों का बैलेंस कहीं बनाना पड़ेगा, और केंद्रीय नेतृत्व जो है भारतीय राष्ट्रीय कांग्रेस का, इस बैलेंस को बनाने में सक्षम है। हमने अपनी रिजर्वेशन जो है, हमें जो लगता है कि नहीं होना चाहिए, बता दिया। परिवार में निर्णय ऐसे ही होते हैं, परिवार के सब सदस्य बता देते हैं मुझे ये पसंद है, मुझे ये नापसंद है, और परिवार का मुखिया फैसला कर देता है। तो इसी प्रकार से कांग्रेस फैसला कर देगी।
कांग्रेस पार्टी अपने बातचीत चल रही है, हम होपफुल हैं, हमें उम्मीद है कि जरूर देश हित में, राष्ट्र हित में, हरियाणा के हित में गठबंधन होगा। हर संभव प्रयास उस दिशा में कर रहे हैं। चर्चाएं चल रही हैं, अब इस पे बॉल बाय बॉल कमेंट्री नहीं हो सकती है, बट उम्मीद है, उम्मीद कायम है।
Poll-bound Jammu and Kashmir. The Congress released its star campaigner list today for Jammu and Kashmir, and there's one name that's triggered controversy. Chaudhry Lal Singh, a Congress neta. He's been appointed as a star campaigner for the party. So what's the controversy about? Lal Singh had actually backed the rapists in the Katwa case way back in 2018. He'd attended a rally in the rapists' support. And even back then, many years ago, when this rape case had come to light, he was slammed, he was in fact targeted, and he even had an FIR registered against him. Lal Singh has in the past served as a minister and was ousted by the PDP for his support to the Katwa rapists in 2018. Today, it looks like the Congress has forgotten about that, with the BJP mocking the Congress, saying, what happened to your Ladki Hu slogan? What happened to going ahead and speaking for women empowerment when this man, Lal Singh, who is a man who backed rapists, who supported rapists, is currently going ahead and named in the Congress's star campaigner list. There's been no reaction that's come in from the Congress just yet, so we don't know really if they are going to back their decision or go ahead and remove Lal Singh from, in fact, the list of star campaigners. We will get you all the reactions on that, but let's focus on the other big talking point today. BJP's Mission Kashmir. Today, the manifesto was released by Home Minister Amit Shah. And let's give you some of the highlights of what's been mentioned in their document, in their promises. It's focused, of course, on Vikas, on development. Home Minister Amit Shah, during the release in Jammu, also spoke of what the government has done for the Union Territory. But here are some of the promises they've made. Metro train services in Jammu as well as in Srinagar. A white paper on all the killings that have happened in Jammu and Kashmir since 1990. They've also, and here's a big one, they've also promised that all temples that were destroyed, targeted by terrorists, will be rebuilt in Kashmir as well as in Jammu. A 3,000 rupee allowance will be given to students in the valley to focus really on the future of the youngsters of Jammu and Kashmir. 5 lakh job opportunities is also something that they've promised. The BJP maintains that we're going to put the focus on development of Jammu and Kashmir. Let's play out some of the highlights of what Home Minister Amit Shah said during the manifesto launch.
जम्मू कश्मीर की जनता को अपील करना चाहता हूं, कहीं आप इनकी चिकनी चुपड़ी बातों में आए बगैर इनका मूल मकसद ध्यान से स्टडी कर लेना। उनका मूल मकसद है जो नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस का एजेंडा है वो, और राहुल गांधी जी और कांग्रेस पार्टी ने वो एजेंडा को अपनी मौन सम्मति दी है। मैं अभी भी कांग्रेस पार्टी को कहना चाहता हूं, क्या इस देश में 2 राष्ट्र 2 झंडे 2 ध्वज के नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस के एजेंडे के साथ आप सहमत हो या नहीं, वो बताइए। 370 के बारे में आप नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस से सहमत हो या नहीं, वो बताइए। मित्रों, वो एजेंडा बहुत खतरनाक एजेंडा है। वो फिर से घाटी में और जम्मू में भय का राज प्रस्थापित करना चाहते हैं। आतंकवाद के माध्यम से भय कर 3 पीढ़ी तक शासन किया है। और मैं आज सबको बिना निसंकोच बताना चाहता हूं मित्रों कि मैं यहां घाटी में भी कई बार आया हूं, जम्मू में भी कई बार आया हूं। अब जो टेररिज्म के साथ है, जम्मू कश्मीर इनके साथ नहीं रहेगा। ग्रास रूट डेमोक्रेसी, पहले डेमोक्रेसी 3 परिवारों में सीमित होकर रह गई थी। ना पंचायत चुनाव होते थे, ना तहसील पंचायतें बनती थी, ना जिला पंचायतें होती थी। भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार ने ग्राम पंचायत, तहसील पंचायत, जिला पंचायत और म्यूनिसिपैलिटी के चुनाव कर पंचायती राज को बहाल करने का काम किया है और यहां लोकतंत्र को प्रस्थापित किया है। क्या नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस के एजेंडा के साथ कांग्रेस पार्टी सहमत है या नहीं है? आप हाँ या ना में जवाब दीजिए। मुझे मालूम है वो नहीं देंगे, मैं बता देता हूं वो पूर्णतया सहमत है। क्या एजेंडा है? पत्थरबाजी की घटना करने वालों को हम छोड़ देंगे। टेररिज्म के केस में जो जेल में, इन पर पुनर्विचार करेंगे। जो टेररिस्टों के सगे संबंधी पर कठोर कार्यवाही की है, इस पर पुनर्विचार करेंगे। फिर से 2 झंडे प्रस्तापित करेंगे। क्या कांग्रेस पार्टी ये एजेंडा के साथ सहमत है? क्या आप 370 फिर से वापिस लाना चाहते हो? इसकी बात आपने करनी चाहिए।
Let's take this across to Sunilji Bhatt for more details. He's joining us live from Jammu. Sunilji, we just played out some of the highlights of what Home Minister Amit Shah has said. But any reactions that have come in from the opposition? Because you had the Home Minister putting several pointed, targeted questions, particularly at the Congress.
Well, Akshita, we are waiting for a response from the opposition parties. But Amit Shah, while, coming up with BJP's Sankalp Patra today here in Jammu, he also used this opportunity to lash out at National Conference, PDP and Congress. And he particularly, named Congress many times, and he said that Congress must clarify its position on National Conference's manifesto. He specifically asked that is the Congress party going to support National Conference's promise of releasing stone pelters? Is the Congress party going to support National Conference's agenda of, restoring Article 370? So these were some specific questions which Union Home Minister Amit Shah asked Congress party. And he also said categorically that Article 370 is not going to come back. This was a message to the National Conference as well as to the PDP. Now, as far as this, BJP Sankalp Patra is concerned, it has come up with many promises. I have right now with me the list of 25 promises that BJP has made, and the most important one among these are that Ayushman, health insurance cover will be increased to 7 lakhs from the existing 5 lakhs. And apart from that, the PM Kisan Nidhi Yojana, Akshita, every year the farmers receive 6,000 rupees from the government. Quarterly they receive 2,000 rupees. And here the BJP is promising that they are going to give additional 4,000 rupees to the farmers of Jammu and Kashmir, which means that Kisan Nidhi, Yojana, now it will be increased from rupees 6,000 to rupees 10,000. And apart from that, BJP is also promising to create avenues, job avenues, and it has promised that 5 lakh
farmers, youngsters, that's really the focus. And development. Tamil Nadu government is facing heavy criticism after a so-called motivational speaker addressed government school students on Teachers' Day. And the message, this person, by the way, is called Mahavishnu. He spoke about rebirth, he spoke about karma and sins, essentially blaming children, saying that, you're to blame for your life struggles because of what you did in your past life. And this triggered a huge controversy. It led to a showdown even then, as one of the teachers, a visually impaired teacher, took offense to what he said, saying you can't say these things about previous birth and being punished for that in school. That's simply not allowed. Let's play out for you that controversial video and tell you how the government has responded.
Mahavishnu, a motivational speaker, was invited to deliver a talk at a government school in Chennai's Mylapore. His speech took a controversial turn as he blamed children for life struggles. Not just that, his speech included comments on past life sins and karma.
என்ன செஞ்சீங்களோ அதை பொறுத்து உங்களுக்கு இந்த பிறவி கொடுக்கப்பட்டிருக்கிறது. இந்த பிறவியிலும் சார் உங்களோட பெயர் தெரிஞ்சுக்கலாமா? என்ன பேசணும்? ஒரு நிமிஷம். Let me deal this. I am not angry. I am asking very clearly. See, I am very stable and asking. என்ன பேசணும் நீங்க சொல்லுங்க. மறுபிறவியை பத்தி வேற யார் சொல்லி கொடுப்பா? மறுபிறவியை பத்தி வேற யார் சொல்லி கொடுப்பா? ஆன்மீகம்னா என்ன? ஆன்மீகம்னா என்ன? What is your problem? என்ன பேசணும்? ஒரு நிமிஷம்.
School staff Shankar, who is visually impaired, can be seen publicly objecting to Mahavishnu's remarks during the session. His bold stance earned him praise from the Tamil Nadu government.
Based on the video evidence, how he, as you said, like he entered into my premises, and he argued with my teacher, and you know how harsh he is. So definitely based on that video evidence, we will definitely take action on it.
Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin, without directly mentioning the viral video of Mahavishnu's speech, stressed the importance of scientific thinking. Stalin said he has ordered a formulation of guidelines for school programs to ensure that students get exposure to progressive ideas. The video of Mahavishnu's speech ignited a political storm. The AIADMK seized the movement, accusing the ruling DMK of pushing the BJP's ideological agenda in the state.
The spiritual classes recently held in the schools clearly shows the secret pact and alliance between DMK and BJP. Now DMK has become the torch bearer of BJP's agenda of promoting religious beliefs and religious polarization.
The government is very proactive. It listens to the voice of the common man. Our Chief Minister, who is in Chicago on a spree of inviting investments to the state of Tamil Nadu, has immediately reacted to this issue and said that scientific temper should be imparted, and the government will not allow regressive beliefs to seep into the school education system.
This controversy comes against the backdrop of tensions between the state government and Governor R.N. Ravi, who has been openly critical of Tamil Nadu's education system. The governor had recently raised concerns about poor student performance in maths and reading, as well as the rise of drug distribution in schools. In response, Tamil Nadu Minister Udayanidhi Stalin defended the state's education system, rejecting the governor's remarks as an unwarranted insult to teachers and students. With Shilpa Nair in Chennai, Bureau Report, India Today.